We were suffering under feats, yes, feats, multiple, in other words, feats with an S, meaning multiple feet of snow. This year we've had a very mild winter, as we were being rewarded for going through winter hell last year. So I don't know. Last year they were who were they? Were they blaming El Nino or La Nina? Was La Nina last year the reason for all that? And this year it's El Nino that's giving us. I don't know. Can never keep track of these liberal terms for trying to explain our weather. When it all comes down to it, they're just still blaming mankind anyway. When it's not even man that's doing it, because they can never make up their mind. Wait. If it's too cold, it's because of man-made global warming. But wait, I thought the planet was heating up. Well, the planet is heating up. But how is it so damn cold? It's getting cold because it's so hot. You got to give it to them. They're the most successful group of people that has used doublespeak that the planet has ever possibly seen. The reason why you had record-breaking cold and snow last year is because the planet is heating up. I'm still trying to figure that one out. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, didn't Ben Affleck do a movie about that where so much of the polar ice melted and it cooled the ocean temperature so much because of all the melting ice that it stopped it's basically to put it in for those of you to understand it in Rush Limbaugh's Realinda. See, the ocean currents, they have something called there's a current, and it's called basically it's a jet stream in water because you have jet stream in the air. We also got jet streams in water, and these ocean currents stopped in this Ben Affleck movie, and it created these cold super tornado cell thingies that froze people nearly instantly because it got so cold. But anyway, yeah, they're able to do that kind of stuff and get away with it. Yeah, it's hey, forget the fact that there's a record amount of ice, and forget the fact that last year and we've come close in a few years recently where we had near 100% ice over on the Great Lakes because it's been so damn cold. But that's due to the planet getting hot. And that's due to, but the way they explain it in the movie is because all the ice was melting on the polar caps. But unfortunately, what we have seen is that there's more ice than ever before. And that the ocean levels have actually dropped a little bit. We're hearing the ocean levels are rising. But we got all this new ice. And because we got all this new ice, which I guess is caused by, man-made global warming, the ocean levels are rising because there's so much more ice. And why is there so much more? Well, how is that possible? Because when you put your water in a glass, and then you add more ice, you add to the glass, the higher the water rises in the glass, right? That's an easy experiment. Well, that's what they're trying. That's what they're trying to tell us is happening to the ocean. But you see, there's a problem with that. You see, with the water in the glass, when you add the ice, you're adding more volume. So you're literally adding more water to the glass when you put in more ice. Now, ever notice that if you leave that glass alone and the ice melts, there isn't much of a level or an increase in the glass level, is there? No, because you're not adding anything. I guess just that, you can't use logic and stuff when you're dealing with people like that. It just in scientific fact. This has to be scientific theory over scientific fact every single time. And it's enough to drive you batty. Even me. It's enough to even drive me batty. International Business Times, France. There is an exodus. They've counted an exodus of 10,000 millionaires amid rising Muslim tensions in France. Where are they going? That was my first question. I saw the headline. Wait a minute, 10,000 millionaires are leaving France? Well, where the hell did they go? Rising tensions in France, and this is from the ibtimes.co.uk, International Business Times. Rising tensions in France, especially in Paris, following a series of Islamist terrorist attacks back in 2015, referring to the Paris attacks in November, have spurred an exodus of its super wealthy citizens. Now, hey, it isn't the taxation of the country, of their socialist government now, which there was previously before this attack. There was very little mention of it, but there was an exodus of French rich people to avoid the taxes, high taxes. But now they know the reason why. It isn't because of the taxes. No. It's because of the terrorist. But in any case, the exodus of its super wealthy citizens, a new report on migration trends of millionaires and high net worth individuals across the world reveals. I did not know that they were keeping track of how wealthy people across the planet migrated. Do they migrate? I don't. Yeah, folks. There are organizations that actually map and keep track of and track the trend of migrate. Stay tuned, folks. Over the next hour, our program will cover the elusive super wealthy and millionaires of the world and their migration patterns. Now, the report warns that other European countries, including the UK, Belgium, Germany, and Sweden, where religious tensions are starting to emerge, will also see similar trends. Well, that should tell you something. People don't want to live there. In that if other people of lesser financial means could get out, do you think that they would not get out if they could? Of course they'd get out. But, unlike the wealthy, they have to stay there and fight. Now, this is regarding a Brexit. The report suggests millionaires would want to stay in Britain, even if it leaves the single currency bloc. Now, the report was compiled by New World Wealth, an agency that gives information on the global wealth sector. The report was based on data collected from Investor Visa program statistics of each country, annual interviews with around 800 global high net worth individuals, and with intermediaries like migration experts. They're what? They're experts in migration of the wealthy? Is that going to be on Animal Planet anytime soon? Is there going to be a reality TV show on Animal Planet? The migration of the wealthy? I don't know. Second, citizenship platforms, wealth managers, and property agents, data from property registers and property sales statistics in each country, and by tracking millionaire movements in the media. That's a lot of tracking. How do these people make any money? How are they able to pay for all of this? I'm just curious. That's a lot of tracking. And they're tracking millionaire movements in the media? Are you talking about the lifestyles of the rich and famous? Did anybody ever watch that? Hi, Robin Leach here. Lifestyles of the rich and famous. I must admit I watched it. I did when I was younger. I never wanted to be any of those rich and famous people or be like them. I just wanted their lifestyle because, you thought he just made it look like all fun and games. And of course, you grow up and you get older and you realize it's not all fun and games. It's a lot of work. Well, For some of them, anyway. I mean, I'm sorry. If you got to work, 1 or 2 months out of the year and you make $30 million for doing one movie, that's not a lot of work in my book. It's not. I'm sorry. It's not. But you can, you can live that lifestyle working 2 months a year. How many people would drop everything they're doing right now to do that? Yeah. I don't know very many people that would turn that down. Say, hey, yeah, I can make $30 million working 2 months out of the year, and I can do that, every year, probably for the next 5 to 10 years. Oh, count me in, man. Yeah. We'll do that. That's the problem with some of these kids. They see this kind of stuff, and they just figure that life's a party. One big giant, because they think all these people are doing is partying. It's one giant, but life is one giant party. And they don't realize that there's actually work that has to be done in there. Let's see. DailyMail.co.uk. At least 50 ISIS supporters are working as baggage handlers, cleaners, and catering staff at the Brussels airport. The airport that was just recently bombed by ISIS people. Well, the police are claiming that at least 50 ISIS supporters are working at the airport. And you know what? This is not limited to Brussels. We have found out that there are people that have worked for the TSA who should not be working for the TSA. There are people working for the TSA in various capacities that are on that agency's no-fly list. Now, I don't know how you get to work in an airport with airplanes when you can't fly on those airplanes yourself. Now, I realize that some of those, not all of them, but some of those people are they're caught in the so-called name trap. They have the same name or very similar name as a real criminal or terrorist. It's kind of like, look, I've known a couple of Steve Martins in my day. I went to school. I played basketball with Steve Martin. Now, not the Steve Martin of Hollywood fame, not that funny man Steve Martin, but I played basketball with another Steve Martin. His name was Steve Martin. Poor kid. I went to college with a Steve Martin. Again, not the funny man Steve Martin. So you can see when you have the same name, that if they don't see who you are and they don't know what you look like, how you can be misconstrued or sometimes mislabeled as the wrong person. Well, yes, that happens in the no-fly list. And it's from what I understand, it's very difficult to get your name off of the list when you're on it, trying to prove that you're not the person that they say you are, even though you can really readily prove that you're not who they say that you are, because you're not that particular person. You're a different person with the same name. There was a report. Now, where did I see that? A report where there was a person, U.S. citizen, who had fought to get his name off the no-fly. He got put on there. He got it. He was on the list. He got it taken off. Then he got put back on it. He got it taken off, and he got put back on the list. Simply because of the name that he had was so synonymous with some worldwide Interpol-known terrorist person. So he literally, in order to have to keep himself off it, had to legally change his name. But the problem is that his new legally changed name is tagged to his old name. So that didn't help him too much by doing that. But to just think you have to go through that kind of thing in order to separate yourself. So parents, please be careful what you name your kids, really. We might have to start doing some sort of comparison data for parents to make sure that they don't name their kid the same name as somebody who's a big-time criminal. You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. In this day and age, when it's easy for people to be misconstrued as being somebody else simply because of their name, this could affect your kid for life. Seriously, think about it. Don't name your kid, like Saddam Hussein or something. Really.